Greetings, my beloved cultists and future converts. Today, we embark on a grand mission, a crusade, if you will, not to destroy, but to resurrect. For lo, there exists a dark force in this world, one that threatens the very fabric of apocalyptic joy, the dreaded critique. Yes, my dear friend and occasional nemesis, Punkyn, has graced us with these poetic words. If the straw man fallacy was a video. A straw man, you say, Punkyn? Well, as a Lich, I've always had a soft spot for things stuffed with hay. They remind me of my skeletons, lightweight but incredibly flammable. But I digress. Punkyn's comment isn't just a jab, it's an opportunity, a spark that ignites not destruction, but creation. For where some see negativity, I see the fertile soil for thread necromancy, the art of raising critiques from the dead and transforming them into something glorious. Thread necromancy isn't just my hobby. It's my brand. Who else could take an argument like Punkyn's and give it new life? Call me the Bob Ross of criticism resurrection. Because creation, my friends, is the true essence of Project Zomboid. This isn't a game where fun is spoon-fed to you. Oh no. This is a sandbox where you build your own chaos, where you forge your own challenges, and yes, construct your own apocalypse, one spoon shrine at a time. So today, I'm not just addressing Punkyn's critique. No. We're addressing every naysayer, every skeptic, every wandering soul who thinks the apocalypse needs some work, is boring, or could use a little bit more love. You say progression is stale, crafting is tedious, realism is a buzzkill? Well, allow me to show you how wrong you really are and how right chaos can be. So grab your welding torch and your spoons, my dear cultists, because today we're forging creativity from chaos. Let's begin. Progression and creativity. So let's start with one of the most common critiques. Progression is stale in Project Zomboid. There's no incentive to explore, they say. It's all the same, they say. Well, to that I respond, have you tried not being boring? Look, if you're wandering around the apocalypse treating it like a checklist simulator, find food, find shelter, find a can opener, well, of course it's gonna feel repetitive to you, but Project Zomboid isn't about what you find, it's about what you do with it. It's not just a sandbox, it's a chaos box. And if you're not digging deep into that chaos, the only thing rotting here is your imagination. Let me paint you a picture. You're looting some rundown house on the outskirts of Moldraw. You find a spoon. Just a spoon. Now, a skeptic might say, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? It's useless. Wrong. What you're supposed to do is build a shrine. That's right, a towering, glorious monument to the humble spoon, complete with candles, mannequins, and maybe a few zombie heads for ambiance. Suddenly, you've created something legendary from nothing but junk and a bit of lunacy. And that's the beauty of Zomboid's progression. It's not handed to you on a silver spoon. It's what you make of it. If you're looking for a giant neon arrow pointing you towards fun, you've come to the wrong apocalypse. The apocalypse is your playground here, guys. You can't have fun? Well, here's an idea. Organize a zombie prom with hats that you've collected. You can crown the zombie king and the zombie queen. That's creativity. This is a game for people who don't just survive the apocalypse, they turn it into performance art. And exploration? Don't even get me started. The map isn't a series of waypoints meatbags. It's a stage for absurdity. Sure, you could raid a hardware store for supplies, or you could spend an entire day collecting nothing but traffic cones and hats. Then, set up a mannequin fashion show in the middle of a zombie horde. Your call. The point is, progression in Project Zomboid isn't stale. It's just waiting for you to embrace the chaos. And if that doesn't work, try this. Declare war on every mannequin in the game and give each battle a dramatic name. Like the Great War of Muldraw's Strip Mall. If you think it's boring, though then, my dear cultists, I'm sorry to say, you're doing it wrong. Crafting challenges. This is a powerful criticism. This is a powerful critique. Crafting, I mean, it's the lifeblood of survival games. Or, as some skeptics would put it, an exercise in frustration. Punkyn and others argue that crafting in Build 42 is a bit tedious, a bit overcomplicated, and ultimately not worth the effort. And to that I say, good. It's supposed to be. That's kind of the whole fucking point. Listen, the apocalypse isn't Amazon Prime, okay? You don't just get to click a button and get a shiny new weapon delivered to your door by drone, or in Zomboid's case, a zombie holding a UPS package. I mean, crafting in the game is a test, a trial, a rite of passage for the truly dedicated. Okay, take for example the infamous meat cleaver. Yes, crafting one requires more materials than a medieval trebuchet. Yes, you're gonna need a welding torch, fuel, and enough steel to build a small submarine. Yes, you could probably just loot one from a kitchen drawer in 5 minutes. But where's the fun in that? The apocalypse isn't about convenience. It's about achievements. Every time you swing that handcrafted cleaver, you're not just fighting zombies. You're fighting the very concept of instant gratification. Crafting a meat cleaver is no small feat. Seriously. By the time you finish, you'll have unlocked the hidden achievement. Welded like a pro. Survive like a legend. And sure, not everyone has the patience for that. Some players see crafting as a barrier, but for others, like me, it's a badge of honor. There are people who look at a pile of junk and see potential, who take on the challenge, not because it's easy, but because they want to stand atop a pile of welded, jury-rigged glory and shout to the heavens, "I made this!" Let's not forget that Zomboid's crafting system isn't just about utility, guys. It's about storytelling. That meat cleaver that you spent hours building, well, it's not just a weapon. It's a symbol of your determination, your grit, your stubborn refusal to admit that looting one would have been easier. And for those of you still unconvinced, well, consider this. Crafting is also an opportunity for comedy. I mean, who hasn't accidentally built 3 chairs when they were trying to make a barricade? Am I right? I'm not the only one, right? Or set themselves on fire because they misunderstood how burning corpses work. Zomboid's crafting system isn't just a challenge. It's a sitcom waiting to happen. And let's not forget those accidental triumphs, like churning 12 sticks of butter when you only needed or wanted 1. Congratulations! You are now the apocalypse's leading butter boy. So yes, crafting in Build 42 is complex. It's messy. Sometimes I understand. It can be maddening, but that's kind of what makes it worth it, guys. Because in the end, when the world has fallen apart and you're surrounded by the undead, isn't it kind of nice to know that you can still build something, even if it is just a horribly inefficient meat cleaver? Realism versus fun. Realism. It's a double-edged sword of every survival game. On one hand, it adds tension and immersion. But on the other hand, it makes you question why drinking river water is somehow as dangerous as drinking bleach. I mean, critics of Project Zomboid love to throw this word around, as if it's the skeleton key to every game design decision. It's too realistic. they cry. It dampens accessibility. Well, my dear cultist, let's talk about that. First, let's be real here. Pun absolutely intended. Realism in Project Zomboid isn't perfect, nor does it try to be. Yes, standing still to read a book feels like something out of a bizarre medieval torture punishment. Multitasking banned in Knox County, anybody? I mean, I say let's lean into it. Imagine the dramatic flair of standing completely still mid-zombie chase just to finish a novel on carpentry. And sure, the muscle strain mechanic can make you wonder if your character skipped leg day for their entire life. But do these quirks ruin the game? Hardly. They're part of the charm, in fact. It's like the apocalypse itself is saying, hey, surviving isn't supposed to be convenient. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about the word accessibility. You know what's accessible? Sparkling vampires. You know what isn't? Zombies tearing through your front door while you're trying to cook pasta. Zomboid isn't here to hold your hand, it's here to yank it off and chase you around with it. Realism in Build 42 doesn't exist to coddle you. It exists to make every decision feel weighty. It's not about making the game harder, it's about making it more interesting. Drinking from a tainted river isn't just dangerous because realism, it's dangerous because it forces you to think, to plan, and to adapt. Do you boil it? Do you take the risk? Or do you just say screw it and grab a soda from the gas station instead? And let's not forget, realism can also be hilariously absurd, like how a campfire's stones just vanish if there's a spreading fire. Campfire stones disappearing? Ah, clearly they're just fleeing the apocalypse too. I mean, would you want to stick around for this mess? Or how your character apparently can't walk and read at the same time, as if multitasking had been outlawed in Knox County. These moments are frustrating for some, sure, but they're also kind of funny. I mean, they remind us that even in a world as grim as Zomboids, there's room for a little slapstick. So, to all the critics out there clutching their pearls over too much realism, let me remind you, this is a game where you can build spoon shrines. Collect every hat, decorate your base with mannequins wearing traffic cones. And if you're taking it that seriously, well, maybe the problem isn't the realism. Maybe the problem is you. NPC dependency. Okay, NPCs. The holy grail of Project Zomboid's future. The mythical feature that will apparently solve every single problem with the game. If only there were NPCs, then the game would finally have depth. Well, allow me to inject a little necromantic perspective into this conversation. Let's get one thing straight. NPCs won't magically transform you into a creative genius. If you can't entertain yourself in the apocalypse without a digital buddy to hold your hand, then no amount of AI is ever gonna save you. Because here's the harsh truth, my dear cultists. The true NPCs are the friends we made along the way. Or, in my case, the mannequins I'm lovingly naming Steve and Brenda. Okay, let's entertain the fantasy for a moment though. Let's say NPCs arrive tomorrow, way ahead of schedule. Indie Stone, you really surprised us with this one. What are they gonna do? Farm for you? Build your defenses? Okay, sure, maybe. Picture this. Your NPC buddy wanders off, but he returns hours later with 3 spoons, 1 shoe, and a horde of zombies trailing him like a lost puppy parade. Depth indeed, but they're just as likely to eat all your food, run directly into zombie hordes, and set your base on fire because their pathfinding decided it was a good day to take a nap. Well, don't believe me? Just ask anyone who has ever played a modded Project Zomboid game with early stage NPCs. Trust me, chaos doesn't begin to describe it. And honestly, isn't that kind of the point? NPCs aren't going to solve the game's problems. They're going to add new ones. And by the way, that's okay. If and when NPCs arrive, they'll bring more unpredictability, more more absurdity, and more stories to tell. But if you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs, waiting for NPCs to give your apocalypse meaning, I think you're missing the bigger picture here. The beauty of Project Zomboid is that it doesn't need NPCs to create drama. You can generate your own chaos just fine. Mods, community challenges, self-imposed rules, these are the tools of the truly unhinged. Why wait for NPCs to burn your base down when you can do it yourself in spectacular fashion? Think of it as a DIY apocalypse. So yes, I do agree. NPCs will be very exciting when they come, but they're not the lifeline that I think skeptics think that they might be. Until they arrive, I suggest embracing the sandbox. Build your spoon shrine, hoard every baseball bat in the game, or roleplay as the only surviving food critic in all of Knox County. Trust me, the apocalypse is only as dull as you make it. Why? Build 42 matters. Let's talk about Build 42. The critics will tell you that it's all flash and no substance, that it focuses on making the game bigger, not deeper. And to those critics, I say, have you ever tried building a house without bricks? No? Then sit down, grab a spoon, and let me explain why Build 42 matters. Punkyn brings up the desire for more dynamic events, like the beloved helicopter mechanic, to jolt the apocalypse into high gear. And yes, dynamic events can add a bunch of chaos that we all love. But let's take a step back and recognize Build 42 for what it's not and what it is. It's not the final chapter. It is the blueprint for chaos yet to come. You see, Build 42 isn't just a collection of isolated updates. It's a foundation. The new crafting systems, the hunting mechanics, the introduction of animals with basic AI, these aren't mere decorations. They're stepping stones for a deeper, more dynamic gameplay in the future. Take the hunting system, for example. Right now, it's about tracking deer and gathering resources. But pair that with NPCs or hostile factions in Build 43, and suddenly, your hunting trip becomes an ambush or a desperate escape from a rival survivor group who also happens to want that deer. And the map updates, they're not just pretty extras to fill the world. Basements, bunkers, and panic rooms are stages waiting for the right kind of drama. Imagine hiding in a basement to escape a horde, only to discover it's already occupied by something, by someone not so friendly. Or setting up in a fortified bunker only to realize that you forgot to maintain it. And now the horde outside is very interested in your shoddy barricades. That's the kind of tension these additions create, even without scripted events. But let's not pretend that Build 42 is only about preparing for the future. Right now, it's already giving players the tools to create their own chaos. Mods, sandbox options, and new systems that amplify what's even possible. Want bi-weekly horde events? Adam, prefer role-playing as a wandering trader who uses the expanding crafting system to survive? Easy. The brilliance of Project Zomboid isn't that it scripts your chaos, it's that it gives you the tools and says, go make some chaos. And for those who say Build 42 only makes the game bigger, not better, let me ask you this. Why can't it be both? Sure, we've got expanded maps, new systems, and quirky features like dynamic lighting. But do you know what these things are? They're toys. For you and me. Tools. Building blocks. For your own apocalyptic shenanigans. It's not about what the game gives you, though. It's about what you do with it. Here's my closing. Are you ready? Here we are. Oh, my lovelies. I think you know what time it is. We're at the end of our undead journey. We've unraveled the myths, we've countered the critiques, and we've celebrated the chaos that makes Project Zomboid so brilliantly apocalyptic. And if there's one thing you should take away from all of this, let it be this. Zomboid isn't about what it hands you. It's about what you create. To the skeptics, the naysayers, and yes, even our dear friend, Punkyn, I say this with love. Destruction is easy. Critique is easy. But creation, well, that takes effort. It takes imagination. It takes the kind of wild, unhinged mindset that looks at spoons and thinks, yes, this is a cornerstone of my apocalypse empire. Project Zomboid is a sandbox in the truest of sense. It's not gonna spoon feed you, pun intended, fun. It's gonna throw you into the deep. It's gonna say, figure it out. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the stories are born, where the challenges are conquered, where the spoon shrines rise. So go forth, my cult of the dead. Build your mannequin armies, hoard every ridiculous item you can find, turn every critique into a story, and every limitation into an opportunity for chaos. And remember, when life, or undeath, hands you limitations, you don't complain. You build a spoon shrine. You name it Spoonhenge. You declare it a historic site, because that's what the apocalypse is all about. Are you still unconvinced? Okay, well, fine. Maybe the problem isn't the game. Maybe the problem is you. And finally, my beloved cultists, here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Go forth and build the most absurd apocalypse imaginable. Share your spoon shrines, mannequin armies, and zombie prom music playlists in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button as hard as a zombie smashes a window when they hear the helicopter. Subscribe so you never miss another sermon from the Lich with the Itch. And until next time, may your apocalypse be messy, your mods be plentiful, and your basements be only mildly cursed. Long live Project Zomboid, and long live the cult of the dead.